Hello everybody, my name is Logan S. Welcome back to my first Pokemon Nuzlocke. This is a randomized version of Pokemon Emerald, and we are getting back into it today. My goals is to hopefully get the next 2 badges. So, going into this gym, I mistakenly run into these 2 trainers, which happen to have a Groudon and a Dragonite, which I am terrified of both of these Pokemon. But we are over their levels. That's the only saving grace for this. Otherwise, this fight could have been real bad, but after we get the Groudon down, the rest of the fight takes no problem. So we are able to make it up to Brawley with no other issues, so we are able to do our ceremonial save and get into our second gym badge. He leads off with a Wooper, which I am not afraid of whatsoever. This thing will go down to 2 Twisters very quickly, and we are on to Pokemon number 2, which is going to be Politoed. Now, for this one, I decided to switch into DDR just to get a little bit of resistance and a little bit of type advantaging. So, this thing decides to Perish Song, which would not be great for, if not for the fact that, I have plenty of Pokemon in the rear, and he couldn't trap me. So, after a couple of turns, I switch out, expecting this thing to hopefully go down, and I think my best option is to lead with Hedwig, but Brawley switches out too to avoid the Perish, but Sunkern versus Noctowl, this thing is going to go down. We are going to eat this little seed. So it goes down after just a couple of quick pecks, and he's got to bring the Politoed back in. After a little bit of back and forth, it does a Perish Song again, putting the whole battle on a timer, which doesn't really matter. So I just swap back into Good Boy to give us the win after his Perish count runs down. With that, we finally got our second gym badge. Now, let's see what random TM he's going to give me. I really need some good TMs because, dear lord, some of these movesets are terrible, and where they're fully evolved, they're not going to learn much. And what is the TM we get? We get TM09, which is going to be Bone Barang. Great. That's going to be useful. Well, we go into the cave, deliver Steven his letter, and after that, we go to Slateport. I decide to go into the beach house to battle these trainers in the hope that there's a randomized item that we get here, but nope, it just turns out to be a soda pop. So we run up north to get our next encounter, which is going to be an Octillery, which I really liked Octillery when the second gen first came out. Literally never used it. I found out later that it's not particularly great, but anyway, I forget to nickname it and just stick it in the box. My next encounter in Slateport, I fish up this Wartortle, which I think would be just great, and I think it can live a tackle, and it can't. Anyway, going on down, we get another encounter, this time with a Voltorb. So, to hopefully stop this thing from blowing itself up and killing itself, I paralyze it and just chuck a Pokeball straight at it. It thankfully gets fully parried, and we catch it on the first try, I think. So, yay. I nickname it Bam Bam. And we need to go and get some story stuff done. Have to pay to get into this place that's being overrun with Aqua Grunts. Like, seriously, dude? Like, you guys are being overrun and you're going to force me to pay you $50 to get in? But anyway, that logic aside, we come in and clean the place up for them. Take down that Vaporeon and take down this Charmeleon. I don't know why I blanked on that for so long. Sorry for the dead space there. Archie comes in, talks to us for a while. This can't be right, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. I beat your grunts, but from here, we need to talk to this grunt on the way outside. See what TM we get, and it turns out to be, I think this is actually a good one. Yes, Crunch. That's going to come in great. So, we head north to go to Malvile City, and we run into our rival. Now, I am absolutely terrified of this fight. I remember a kid spending hours trying to get past May here. I remember it as hours. It may not have been, but our first Pokemon here is not too scary. It's just a little Skiploom. We're able to take that down, no problem. No Boomies gets a level up. Very nice. And the next Pokemon she's going to bring in is Ninetales. I decided to stay in with no boomies just because we have the typing advantage, and we are going to mud slap it to bring down its accuracy, so hopefully it won't hit us too much or too hard. I switch over to Rock Tom, see that it does just barely a little bit more, and I decide to finish it off with just another mud slap. At least I thought one more mud slap was going to finish it off, but thankfully Ninetales misses because of all the accuracy drops, and the next one does in fact take it down. May's final Pokemon is going to be Pidgeotto, which I do not have a very good matchup for. I really don't have any electric types right now. I know I could get Voltorb on the team, but I would have to train it up, and I really don't want to do that. But thankfully it goes down real quick to no boomies, and we are able to make it past May. She gives us an item finder, which we'll probably never use. We go up a little bit, find out we could have encountered a Ho-Oh, but oh well. So, go into Mauville, go to the right to get our next encounter, which is a Cyndaquil, which I am excited about. You know, getting some starters. Starters are solid Pokemon. You know, they're not the best, but they're also not terrible. So, I decide to nickname our little Cyndaquil Cinder, because I've been into Disney Pixar's Elemental, and Cinder is a character. Then I head on over to get another encounter. This turns out to be a Tauros, which I really like Tauros. I know Tauros can be a really good Pokemon for Nuzlocke. So, thankfully we're able to catch it, and I nickname it Fu Manchu because I remembered a lyric from one of my favorite songs, Live Like You Were Dying, from when I was growing up. Live Like You Were Dying, he spent a full 8 seconds on a bull named Fu Manchu, so that's where that came from. I mistakenly get into this double battle that I could have easily avoided or just battled them single, but we are stuck here in an honor battle with our Claydol. I decide just to go all out and just attack this Claydol with both of my Pokemon, and we are able to take down the Claydol. Thankfully, no deaths yet, anyway. And after we take down this Claydol, the Slowbro goes down rather quickly with nothing really eventful happening other than it just put us to sleep. Anyway, we head left to our next encounter. It turns out to be a Hitmontop, which I forgot to load up on Pokeballs, so we only have a couple of attempts. I throw my last ball, which is a Luxury Ball, and we don't catch it. So, failed encounter. From there, we trained up a little bit, and now we have to face Wally. He wants to fight us, so let's see what Wally's going to lead with, and it's a Lugia. Wally, I mean, Ralts was great. Gardevoir is a really good Pokemon, but Lugia, seriously? Anyway, couple of quick crunches from our good boy, and the Lugia thankfully goes down just because we were overleveled. So we head on in. We do our customonial save before we battle, and now we are getting into our battle against Watson, which this is another battle that when I was a kid took me forever to finally take him down. He leads with an Eevee, which I'm happy about. I'm not worried about this thing. I think a couple of quick Dragon Rages should take this down real quick, and I am right. 2 Dragon Rages, 1 Pokemon down. And his next Pokemon coming up is going to be Shuppet, which I know is going to be very quick work considering we finally got that Crunch TM from the last gym. So, Good Boy's going to come in here, give us a quick crunch. The Shuppet goes down, an Oko. Now his last 2 Pokemon coming up. The first one is going to be a Corsola, which I switch into DDR for. It takes a little bit of back and forth, a lot of potions. I think he used an entire Mart's worth of potions, but eventually I was able to finally just take it down because Corsola is not all that great, especially since we had the type advantage with the Absorb. So he brings in Charizard, which I don't really have a great advantage against right now. DDR will eventually get a good water move, I hope, but for now we switch into Lucky. I know the Dragon Rage should be good, so I paralyze it. Dragon Rage, it has a berry and heals, and it just takes a few extra turns, but the Charizard goes down kind of uneventfully. So thankfully, didn't lose any Pokemon. We get our 3rd badge. Our next TM we get is TM4, which is going to be Focus Energy. This is definitely turning into somewhat of a theme around this playthrough, is that we cannot get good TMs. But from there, I'm able to head to a new area, so that means a new encounter, which this time is going to be Victory Bell. I whittle it down a little bit, put it to sleep, throw a Great Ball, and we capture the Victory Bell. I think a few minutes about what to name it, and I decided it's a Venus flytrap, so let's just name it Venus. Also in honor of Venus Williams. The next encounter was going to be that Vaporeon, but I killed it. So, on the way back, I accidentally run into these two trainers. I wasn't trying to. I was going to try to time it and avoid them. But unfortunately, I did not, and this is going to be a big mistake. Because as you can see, there is now a fortress, and it explodes. Which is going to take down Hedwig. I really hope Lucky lives, but no. We lose our Lucky as well. That really hurt. 2 Pokemon, 1 battle, but obviously the Kabuto is no problem after that, but now we have to head back to our box, and we have to deposit our faithful Hedwig and our unbelievably lucky Lucky. Which means that there's 2 new Pokemon for the team. I decide on Cinder and Fu Manchu, and then I decide to start leveling it up. It evolves, and if you want to follow me and figure out what happens in the next section, where we start to go after Flannery in the next gym, you can subscribe. But for now, thank you, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care.